Every man dreams of being wanted until he learns the hard truth. Being wanted by the wrong woman can drain you more than being wanted by no one at all. At first, it feels flattering, her attention, her laughter, the way she seems to choose you. But underneath that spark, there might be patterns that clash with your peace, values, and future. The Stoics would remind us that not every opportunity is worth taking, and not every door should be opened just because it's unlocked. In today's video, we'll talk about why your worth isn't measured by her desire. How to recognize when interest is just a distraction in disguise, and why your greatest power lies in choosing with wisdom, even when temptation is staring you in the eye. Let's begin. Number 1, the illusion of flattery. The illusion of flattery. Her interest might stroke your ego. It might make you feel wanted, but flattery isn't the same as compatibility. A Stoic man doesn't let temporary praise cloud his long-term judgment. He remembers what people admire today. They may criticize tomorrow. Your worth can't depend on whether she smiles at you. It has to be rooted in who you are when noon's looking. Now let's be honest. Being wanted feels good. It lights up something primal in you. But here's the danger. When you confuse being desired with being valued, you put yourself in a position where your standards start to slip. She could be interested for reasons that have nothing to do with the qualities you actually want in a partner. Maybe she's lonely, maybe she's bored, or maybe she's simply attracted to the attention you give. That doesn't mean she's ready or even capable of building something healthy with you. I've seen men fall into this trap over and over. A woman flirts, shows some interest, and suddenly he's convinced she's the one. But if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you might notice red flags that get drowned out by the rush of flattery. She might not respect your time. She might bring drama that drains your peace. She might want you for what you can give her, not for who you truly are. And if you ignore those signs because it feels good to be wanted, you're gambling with your own emotional well-being. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." The same applies here. If it is not aligned with your values, do not pursue it, no matter how flattering it feels in the moment. A Stoic man evaluates not just the spark of attraction, but the potential for harmony, respect, and growth. He asks himself, will this connection make me better, or will it pull me away from who I want to be? Imagine you're training for a marathon. Halfway through, someone offers you a plate of your favorite food. It smells amazing, it's tempting, and it would give you a burst of pleasure, but it would also slow you down, maybe even ruin your race. That's what it's like to chase someone, just because they show interest, without considering whether they're truly good for you. So don't let your standards bend under the weight of a compliment or the thrill of attention. Keep your eyes on the kind of relationship you want to build, not just the one that flatters you today. Because in the end, it's far better to be alone with your peace than with someone who disrupts it. And that's a truth every disciplined man learns sooner or later. Desire is not a qualification. Number 2, desire is not a qualification. Attraction feels good, but it's not a license for a relationship. Epictetus would remind us that not all things that seem good are truly good. You have to look past the excitement and ask, does she have the traits that make her a fit for my life? Or is this just a moment of chemistry that'll fade once reality kicks in? The truth is, desire can cloud your vision. It's like standing in a room filled with perfume. You can't smell the smoke until the scent fades. Many men mistake the rush of attraction for a sign that they've found something meaningful. But a Stoic man pauses and asks himself, what will this look like in a year? In 5 years? Will this connection still hold when the novelty is gone? I've seen it play out too many times. A man meets a woman who's beautiful, charming, and interested. In him, she laughs at his jokes, sends long messages, and makes him feel alive in ways he hasn't in a long time. But in the quiet moments, Away from the heat of the flirtation, there are red flags, values that don't align, lifestyles that clash, or emotional instability that surfaces in subtle ways. In the fog of desire, he waves these off, convincing himself that chemistry will carry them through. Yet months later, he finds himself drained, frustrated, and wondering how he missed what was obvious from the start. The Stoics teach us to guard our reason against being hijacked by emotion. Marcus Aurelius wrote about keeping the mind fortress-like impervious to passing storms. Attraction is a storm. It can be thrilling, but it can also pull you off course if you let it steer the ship. Just because a woman wants you, it doesn't mean she's good for you. In fact, sometimes her desire for you may have nothing to do with who you truly are, but with how you fit into her current needs, insecurities, or temporary excitement. A man who knows his worth doesn't hand out his commitment like candy to anyone who asks. He measures character before chemistry, values before validation. He understands that a relationship is not just about shared moments of desire, but about building a shared life, and that requires more than sparks. It requires alignment, respect, and mutual growth. So before you step into something just because she's showing interest, slow down. Ask yourself, would I still choose her if she wasn't pursuing me? If the answer is no, then her desire is just noise. And your discipline, your clarity, will save you from mistaking it for music. That's the difference between living at the mercy of your impulses and living with the quiet strength of a man who chooses rather than one who is simply chosen. If this message about choosing with clarity over giving into impulse resonates with you, take a second to hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who need to hear it. And I'd love to know your thoughts. Have you ever mistaken attraction for compatibility only to realize later it wasn't the right fit? Share your experience in the comments, or if you'd rather keep it simple, just type clarity over impulse so I know you're part of the men who choose with intention. The test of values number 3, the test of values. Before you commit your time, ask yourself, does she share my principles? Because if she doesn't, conflict is inevitable. A disciplined man spends his attention like currency only where it grows in value. If her lifestyle, morals, or vision don't align with yours, then no matter how strong the attraction, it's a mismatch. Desire might pull you in the short term, but shared values are what keep two people walking in the same direction over years, not just weeks. Imagine you're building a house. The chemistry between you might be the excitement of choosing paint colors, but the values are the foundation. Without that foundation, it doesn't matter how vibrant the walls look. Sooner or later, cracks appear and the whole structure weakens. You could meet someone breathtakingly beautiful who makes your heart race and your phone light up at all hours. But if she thrives in chaos while you seek discipline, or if her ambitions clash with your sense of purpose, every conversation will turn into a negotiation about who compromises next. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote about keeping the soul aligned with reason and virtue, not being swayed by fleeting pleasures or the approval of others. In relationships, this means you don't bend your moral compass just because you're drawn to someone. You hold steady, even if it means walking away from what looks good in the moment. A woman's desire for you is flattering, but it's not a qualification in itself. What matters is whether she respects your principles, supports your mission, and builds rather than drains your energy. Think of it this way. You could date someone who says all the right things but doesn't live by them. Or you could wait for the person whose actions naturally align with your own path. One might give you excitement now but turmoil later. The other might take longer to find, but brings peace that lasts. Epictetus warned against trading what's most valuable for what's immediately available. A man who understands this doesn't rush into commitment just because someone wants him. He filters that desire through the lens of his standards. So before You let attraction make the decision for you. Pause. Ask, will this connection make me a better man, or will it pull me away from who I'm trying to become? The answer to that question is often the difference between a relationship that strengthens you and one that leaves you rebuilding yourself afterward. In the end, it's not about rejecting her. It's about protecting the life you've built, the mission you're on, and the man you refuse to compromise. Number 4, emotional chemistry versus emotional stability. Emotional chemistry versus emotional stability. Chemistry can ignite in seconds. Stability takes time to reveal itself. A Stoic understands that passion without steadiness is like fire. Without control, it burns hot, but it also burns fast. The question is, when life gets tough, will she stand steady or will shed to the chaos? Anyone can share laughter when the mood is light. But what about the moments when the mood turns heavy? What happens when you're under stress, when money is tight, or when you face a setback that shakes your confidence? That's when you see the difference between someone who's merely exciting and someone who's truly dependable. Let's be honest. Emotional chemistry is intoxicating. The way she looks at you, the spark in her voice when she talks, the magnetic pull that makes you want to be around her all the time. It's hard not to get swept up in it, but here's where many men stumble. They mistake that rush for a sign of long-term potential. Marcus Aurelius would tell you that feelings are like the weather, beautiful one moment, stormy the next. If your foundation with her is built only on those highs, it won't survive the lows. Imagine you're building a ship. Chemistry is the sail that catches the wind and moves you forward. Stability is the hull that keeps you afloat when the sea turns violent. Without both, you're either stuck or sunk. I've seen men dive headfirst into relationships because the connection feels amazing, only to find themselves months later drained, arguing over every little thing and realizing that the woman who lit them up in the beginning now leaves them feeling burned out. A Stoic man knows to pause before he commits. He watches for how she handles discomfort. Does she face problems with a clear head, or does she escalate them? Does she meet you with respect even when she disagrees, or does she use conflict as an excuse to wound? Emotional stability isn't glamorous in the moment, but over time, it's what keeps love from collapsing under its own weight. Number 5, the weight of character. The weight of character. Her looks may turn heads, but her character will determine if she can walk beside you. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That's a poetic way of reminding us that a person's inner life eventually spills into their actions. You might be drawn in by charm, wit, or beauty, but over time, it's the patterns of her behavior that will decide whether she brings peace or storms into your life. And as much as desire might tempt you, just because she wants you doesn't mean you should want her becomes more than a catchy line. It's a boundary that protects your future. Take a moment to really observe. Does she treat people well when no one is watching? Is she respectful toward those who can't do anything for her? Does she keep her promises even in the small things? A Stoic man understands that these aren't just pleasant traits. They are signs of someone who values integrity, and if integrity isn't there in the beginning, it won't magically appear later. The same beauty that catches your eye today can be overshadowed by dishonesty, selfishness, or instability tomorrow. I've seen men ignore these red flags because they were blinded by attraction. They told themselves, "She wants me. She must be good for me." But when her character was tested, when life got hard, she folded, lied, or lashed out. You can avoid that trap by remembering that desire is a spark, but character is the foundation. Without the foundation, the spark eventually burns out, leaving only ashes. The Stoics teach us to value what's within our control, and one of those things is who we choose to let into our lives. If you choose based on looks and chemistry alone, you're handing over your peace to someone you haven't truly vetted. But when you choose based on shared values, proven integrity, and emotional steadiness, you're aligning your life with someone who can actually build with you, not just take from you. Think of it like this: you wouldn't invest your life savings into a business. Just because the logo looked good, you'd study its history, assess its stability, and see if its values matched. Yours relationships are no different. You are investing your time, your energy, and your heart. And just because someone is eager to receive it, doesn't mean they deserve it. Take a moment to reflect on this. Character isn't something you can Photoshop. It reveals itself in the small, quiet moments when no one is watching. Think about the relationships in your own life. Have you ever overlooked red flags because desire spoke louder than reason? Share your perspective in the comments below, or simply type character over charm to let others know you choose depth over surface. Your thoughts might be the insight another man needs to hear today. Guarding the gates of your peace. Number 6, guarding the gates of your peace. Some relationships aren't worth the price of your tranquility. You can recover money, you can recover time, but peace of mind, that's priceless. A man who values his inner calm over fleeting pleasure has already mastered one of the highest forms of strength. It's easy to be pulled towards someone simply because they show interest, because the attention feels good, because the flattery strokes your ego. But that's exactly when you have to pause and ask yourself, at what cost? Just because she wants you doesn't automatically mean she fits into the life you've built or the man you're becoming. Think of it like guarding the gates of a fortress. Your mind, your emotions, and your peace are what you're protecting. A Stoic like Epictetus would remind you that freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, and one of those things is how much someone desires you. Her interest is hers. It's not proof of compatibility, nor is it a reason to lower your guard. You have their responsibility to filter who enters your inner world, because not everyone will respect its order. I've seen men chase relationships simply because they didn't want to lose the attention, only to realize later that they were trading their stability for constant drama. Imagine this. She's beautiful. She's charming. She knows how to keep you hooked. But she also thrives on chaos, ignores boundaries, and drains your energy with every interaction. At first, her passion feels intoxicating, but over time, it's like living next to a fire that never stops demanding fuel. Eventually, you're burned out, wondering why you ever opened the gate in the first place. This is where discipline comes in. You have to be able to look past the surface, past beauty, past charm, past desire, and see the impact this person will have on your life. Will she add to your peace or disturb it? Will she walk beside you in storms or become another storm you have to weather? These are not just romantic questions. They are questions of self-respect. When you understand your own worth, you stop being impressed by the mere fact that someone wants you. Instead, you start asking if their presence aligns with your values, your vision, and your purpose. That's when you truly master the art of guarding your peace. And once you've experienced the clarity and strength that come from protecting your inner calm, you'll never again be willing to trade it for temporary excitement. Because in the end, the woman who deserves you will never ask you to sacrifice your peace to keep her. Is she drawn to you, or the idea of you? Number 7, is she drawn to you or the idea of you? Sometimes people are attracted to the benefits of your presence, not the reality of who you are. Maybe she likes the lifestyle, the social circle, or the way she feels when you're around. A Stoic man looks deeper. If she only wants the image, she'll leave when the image no longer serves her. This is where discernment becomes your greatest defense. You have to ask yourself, is she here for me or for the reflection she sees of herself in my world? It's easy to mistake admiration for genuine connection. Let's say you're a man who's worked hard, built a career, takes care of his body, has a stable life. She might be drawn to the dinners you can afford, the way people respect you, or the fact that you always seem in control. But what happens when the setting changes, when life tests you, when the lights dim and there's no social crowd watching? If she's only fascinated by the highlight reel, she won't have the patience for the unfiltered reality. A Stoic understands that real value in a relationship lies in shared principles, mutual respect, and consistent character, not in fleeting impressions. Epictetus reminded us not to confuse appearances with truth. Someone may look like they're in your corner, but the real test is whether they remain when your life isn't Instagram-worthy. If her interest is tied to the perks and not the person, then her loyalty will expire as soon as those perks fade. You've probably seen it before, maybe in your own life. A man dates a woman who praises his drive, his ambition, his lifestyle. But when he hits a rough patch, when money gets tight, or his attention turns to solving real problems, suddenly the enthusiasm disappears. She didn't love him. She loved the comfort and the status that came with him. And when those weren't available, neither was she. This is why you must observe more than you listen. Words can be sweet, but patterns reveal truth. Notice how she treats you when there's nothing to gain. Notice if she's still engaged when your life is quiet and ordinary. Notice whether her respect for you depends on the attention you can give or the stage you can provide. Being wanted is flattering, but it's not the same as being truly valued. A disciplined man doesn't confuse desire with depth. He understands that not every woman who wants him deserves him. Protecting your peace means filtering out those who only want the idea of you and choosing only those who see and accept the whole man. That's not coldness, that's wisdom. So before we move on, take a moment to really think about this in your own life. Have you ever been valued for the idea of you're rather than the reality of who you are? It's an unsettling question, but an important one. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen this happen to you or to someone you know? Sometimes we only realize the difference when life strips away the stage lights and we see who's still standing beside us. If you've ever been through that moment, type "I know the difference" now below and let's hear your story. The discipline to walk away. Number 8, the discipline to walk away. It's easy to say yes when someone wants you. It's hard to say no when desire is pulling at you. But real discipline means walking away from what doesn't serve you before it costs you more than you're willing to pay. Like a general choosing his battles, you must choose your relationships with the same caution. Too many men mistake interest for alignment, assuming that because she wants you, she must be right for you. But want is not the same as worth. A woman can be attracted to your presence, your status, or even the challenge you represent without being someone who will actually bring peace, growth, or loyalty into your life. Attraction can cloud judgment, but a disciplined man knows that passion without compatibility is like building a house on sand. It may look good for a while, but the foundation will eventually give way. Imagine this. You meet a woman who is stunning, magnetic, and clearly drawn to you. The chemistry is undeniable, but over time you notice she disrespects others when it suits her, avoids responsibility, and treats loyalty as optional. Your emotions might try to justify staying, telling you she wants you and you want her. That's enough. But the disciplined part of you knows better. You recognize that staying will cost you more than it's worth your peace, your focus, maybe even your self-respect. And so you walk away, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. Walking away doesn't make you cold or unfeeling. It makes you intentional. It means you refuse to rent out your time, energy, and heart to someone who hasn't earned that trust. In the end, discipline in relationships is about valuing your long-term well-being over short-term pleasure. Just because she wants you doesn't mean she's good for you. And just because you desire her doesn't mean you should pursue her. A Stoic man knows that true strength isn't found in conquering others. It's in conquering himself. and sometimes the greatest. Victory you can claim is the one where you choose yourself over your impulses. Because in love, as in life, the ability to walk away from what isn't right is what leads you to what is. Respect as the true foundation. Number 9, respect as the true foundation. Mutual respect is the soil where relationships grow. Without it, attraction is just perfume covering rot. If she doesn't respect you, it won't matter how much she says she wants you. Eventually, the connection will collapse. And Stoic living means keeping your dignity intact, even when temptation knocks. You can be drawn to someone's beauty, charm, or charisma. But if she speaks to you with contempt, disregards your boundaries, or treats your time as disposable, that attraction is hollow. Respect isn't about the sweet words said in good moments. It's about the consistent regard shown when things aren't easy. Think about it like this. A Stoic man measures a relationship, not by how much someone desires him in the heat of the moment, but by how they honor him in the quiet, ordinary days. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." In the same way, if a connection is not rooted in respect, it's not worth building on, no matter how tempting it feels. When a woman truly respects you, she values your time. She listens without belittling, and she supports your standards rather than testing how far she can push them. Let's be real, sometimes desire can blind you. She might want you fiercely, and that might feel like a compliment to your ego. But if her actions show disregard for your needs, your values, or your peace, you're setting yourself up for future resentment. It's like building a house on sand. It might look beautiful at first, but sooner or later, the foundation gives way. Respect is the bedrock. Without it, everything else is just decoration. Imagine a man who's been seeing a woman who always wants to be around him, texts him constantly, it tells him how much she likes him, but when they make plans, she's often late without apology. She interrupts him when he talks. She ignores his boundaries when he says he needs time for work or rest. On the surface, it looks like she wants him, but underneath, there's no true respect for his life or priorities. A Stoic man recognizes that, as a warning sign, desire without respect is a storm. It can be thrilling, but it will also wreck you if you stay in it too long. The truth is, just because someone wants you doesn't mean you should want them back. Your worth isn't measured by how many people desire you. It's measured by the standards you keep and the respect you require. A disciplined man knows when to walk away. Not because he lacks attraction, but because he refuses to trade his dignity for temporary pleasure. That's real strength. And that's the kind of foundation that will never crack. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever let attraction blind you to the absence of respect, or spotted the red flags, but stayed anyway? Share your thoughts or one lesson you've learned about walking away from someone who couldn't honor your boundaries. Your insight might be exactly what another man needs to hear today. Number 10, the long view over the short. The long view over the short thrill. Before you step forward, think long-term. Will this connection help you move toward your life's purpose, or will it drag you off course? The Stoic way is to act today with tomorrow in mind. If the future you envision with her doesn't inspire confidence, then maybe the present isn't worth investing in. Too many men get caught in the pull of the moment, the spark in her eyes, the rush of attention, the intoxicating feeling of being wanted, and they forget to ask themselves the harder question. What will this feel like in a year? In 5? Will I look back on this choice with pride, or will I regret ignoring the warning signs I saw from the beginning? Think of a captain steering his ship. The sea might look calm now, the sun warm, the breeze perfect. But if the compass is pointing toward a storm, that beauty is a trap. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote about not letting the sweetness of the moment blind you to the whole journey. Just because she wants you now doesn't mean she will want you or respect you when life stops being easy. The question isn't whether the start is exciting. It's whether the foundation is solid enough to last when the weather changes. I've seen men ignore this. They meet someone who showers them with affection, who seems endlessly interested, and they jump in head first without noticing the cracks. Emotional instability, conflicting values, or a lack of mutual respect. At first, the thrill makes them overlook it. But over time, the very things they ignored become the weight that drags them down. In Stoicism, this is the danger of living for immediate gratification you pay later, and often more than you imagined. So here's the challenge. Step back from the heat of the moment and look at the bigger picture. How does she respond when she doesn't get her way? Does she add stability to your life, or does she stir chaos? Can you see yourself growing alongside her, or will you have to shrink to keep the peace? These aren't romantic questions. They are survival questions. And if the honest answers make you uneasy, have the discipline to walk away, even if she wants you, even if part of you wants her. Because the truth is, a short thrill can derail years of progress. The Stoic man doesn't gamble with his peace, his purpose, or his self-respect. He invests only where the returns compound over time. And sometimes that means choosing the long view over the rush of the moment, because not every spark is meant to become a fire. Number 11, wanting with wisdom. Wanting with wisdom. The point isn't to reject every woman who shows interest. It's to choose with intention. A man anchored in self-mastery understands desire without discernment is a trap, but desire guided by wisdom, that's a gift. So choose her not just because she wants you, but because she's truly worth wanting. Here's the thing, just because someone desires you doesn't mean they can walk with you where you're going. Interest is flattering, yes, but flattery fades. What remains is whether her values, character, and vision for life align with yours. I've seen men leap into relationships simply because the attention felt good in the moment, only to find themselves months later feeling trapped in a connection that drained them. The initial spark was real, but it blinded them to the fact that they were building with someone who wasn't truly on the same path. A Stoic man knows that not every yes is worth saying. Marcus Aurelius wrote about acting in harmony with nature, meaning in harmony with reason and purpose. That applies here if a relationship pulls you away from the man you're trying to become. It's not a gift, it's a detour. And detours, when followed long enough, can cost you years you'll never get back. Think about this in practical terms. Imagine you're working toward a life built on health, discipline, and ambition. Then you meet a woman who's beautiful and charming, but she thrives on late nights, constant drama, and impulsive decisions. She may want you fiercely in the beginning, but over time, the friction between your lifestyles will grow. You'll either compromise your standards to keep the peace, or you'll face constant conflict. Either way, you lose the clarity you had before. This is why discernment matters. It's not coldness, it's protection of your peace, your goals, and your future. Epictetus would remind you, don't hand control of your life to passing impulses, whether they're your own or someone else's. Before you say yes to her, ask yourself, is she drawn to me for who I am or for what I can give her right now? And more importantly, do I see qualities in her that will inspire me to be a better man over time? Choosing with wisdom means you're not just reacting to desire, you're directing it.